Hey, everybody. We're here to talk to
Merry
you.
Rexmas.
We're here to talk to you tonight about soccer. This is USfanTV. He is Chris. I am Pat. We talk about things in the world of soccer involving the United States of America. Mainly focused on the U.S. Mainly focused on the U.S. men's national team, but we kind of orbit around that too. We talk a little MLS and other stuff like that. And tonight,
Women's team, like our favorite player, Alex Morgan, going to Lyon.
yeah, you know what my favorite part about that is? I mean, it makes complete sense for her from a business standpoint, but apparently the owner of Lyon was sending her creepy tweets for like the last year. Hey, you want to come play with me? I want to play with you for sure. And
I could see it happening in France, and I mean, no one can deny that she is attractive, but yeah, not exactly a professional way of handling things. But I could see it coming from France.
and it worked, and he signed her. So I hope for her it works out.
What really makes it interesting to me, because I mean, otherwise, who cares? It's just a player going to play at a team. I mean, she got money to go play somewhere. Like, what's any different than any other player? What actually makes it interesting to me is what happens with her U.S. contract. Does she still get paid by U.S. soccer, and does this then affect? Because one of the things she noted was, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be here as part of our
right.
What do they call it? Equal pay, or whatever. She's
Right.
like, I won't be a part of this going forward or something. So I don't know if that means that she's
certainly not going to have her club salary subsidized. Like
yeah.
Most of the, if you don't know, so the men get paid completely different than the women. The men get like
the men don't get paid. The men don't get paid unless they play. I mean, it is truly pay to play.
The men get $5,000 some dollars per game. The women get it's way less than that. It's like 1,700 or something like that. But the women actually have to win the game to get paid. But the women all have various
salaries,
degrees,
and their league is yeah.
The women all have various degrees of their club salary subsidized by U.S. Soccer. Their league would not exist if not for the subsidies they get from U.S. Soccer to pay for the women's national team players. And so, if Alex goes to play in France, obviously
a number of them are.
Yeah, U.S. Soccer is not going to pay that, I don't think, unless she is going to still get a separate contract, which would be interesting. But none of them may have contracts come the end of the month. So
that's true.
She's protecting herself by doing this.
Probably.
She gets to live in France for 6 months, and if she hates it, she can come back to Orlando. That's a pretty great deal. So good for her.
Although, I mean, she is. Where does her husband play for Orlando?
Yeah, Carrasco plays for Orlando as well.
Yeah, I was just saying, I don't remember where he plays, but I know they both live in Orlando, so I assume he did, but I couldn't think of where he played because I know he's not high enough on my radar to remember, but
it's like Dwyer and LaRue always. They constantly had to work it to where they were both in the same city, and then
those two are high enough on my radar that I'm aware of, like both of them and where they play. But yeah, her husband, it's like other than he's her husband, that's kind of all I know.
Another person on the move is Julian. Julian Green is going to Stuttgart from Bayern. Stuttgart is currently in Bundesliga 2 Electric Boogaloo. So it's a move down, obviously, from a giant club, but it's also a move that will get him actually playing, which is probably what we want here.
Yeah, presumably it should get him playing time, which is the big thing. I mean, really, that's absolutely what he was doing. I mean, his contract was going to be up at the end of the year anyway, or the end of this season, so he had to do something. He clearly wasn't going to make it as a full-time starter there, which is no surprise when you look at who's in front of him. I mean, come on, you're dealing with guys who are starters on international teams. Like this is just and you're looking at one of kind of those world all-star teams. So he's not going to find a spot. Good night. Thank you. Go away, please. Sorry, small interruption. So he wasn't going to get any playing time, presumably, especially having now coming off a recent injury and things too. It was just one thing after another. I think this is a much better move for him. Now that the problem does become Stuttgart has a number of players already in position. I mean, they have good strikers / forwards. They have a couple guys kind of in their wide positions. So it certainly puts him in position. Now, it's not as deep a team, and they don't have the kind of resources that Bayern Munich has. So should any of those guys get hurt, he's much closer to a starting position. But he is going to have to. He's truly going to have to compete, which probably is a good thing. You have to think that because of his age, he is looked at more as an up and comer there. He had been surpassed at Bayern Munich by a couple guys. So at least, a positive move for him, or at least a positive opportunity. You have to hope it's going to be a positive move.
It makes me wonder, though. Back in, I think it was October, Carlo Ancelotti said, "Oh yeah, he's going to be playing for us very, very soon. Don't you worry. He's going to get minutes in the Bundesliga." Maybe he would have if he didn't get hurt, or maybe Carlo was just blowing smoke up everybody's ass to talk positively about somebody.
To get more money, trying to sell him or something. Yeah. Who knows? I mean, it's not like he hasn't. He certainly looked good in the preseason. So he certainly was showing abilities that would get him playing time, even at Bayern Munich. The problem became, look at the other guys they have in their lineup, and he's then going to have to battle through them too.
Are you rolling your eyes at your dog?
Not my dog.
Dog. Yeah. It begs the question, though. Do you want a guy to go to a club like Bayern and just, I mean, did he fail here because he didn't make it, or was it worth the shot? Do you want a guy to try to take the shot and see what he can do? I think in everybody's different, but I would rather see a dude go to Bayern and wash out by the time he's 21 and see who he can catch on with than play college soccer. But everybody's different, and everybody's needs are different and everything like that. So I don't think it was a failure at all. I think it was worth a shot, and he's only 21. Bobby Wood wasn't anywhere near the level that Bobby Wood's at 3 years ago, and he was able to work his way up from Bundesliga to Electric Boogaloo to what he's doing now, playing, albeit on a kind of crap Bundesliga team. He's playing great.
Please just give the dog whatever it wants, or lock it in a room.
The dog. Does the dog want to join the show? I mean, he can if you want him to. But it's good to see. I don't think that you would call this a failure, although it kind of is. I don't think you'd call it that because he tried to make it one of the 3 biggest clubs in the world, and it didn't work out. And maybe down the road it will. Bayern will be the first to buy somebody back if they see somebody doing well. So we shall see for young Julian Green.
It's hard to say for sure that even at 21 that this is truly a failure. I mean, just because he didn't pan out the way they probably hoped when he was 16. I don't know that he was truly on track to ever be a star there. Ultimately, I would guess that Germany would have tried a little harder to keep him if that was truly the case. He wouldn't have just been, "Oh, you got one of our fishes from the pond." It would have been, "No, we're going to keep this one. You can have one of the other fishes." So I don't know if you can count it as a failure. It just didn't work out. It went a lot better than I think you could say Josie's trip to Hull or what was
Sunderland.
Sunderland? Thank you. Where in both cases, I think those were legitimate failures. He was never. I mean, he came up as a kid, so in some ways, even though he should be at 21 an established player if he's truly going to be a star, he's still an up-and-comer. He's still growing. He's still learning. He's still improving. So it is still, I guess, give him a break there. If things don't work out, I think you could say his loan at Hamburg, that was a failure.
Yeah.
If this doesn't work out, I think you can say this is a failure. But at this point, it's just kind of the vagaries of careers. Not every job you take is the best job. So it just is what it is. If it doesn't work out from here, though, yeah, I think you have to look at it a little more critically.
he's obviously got a crazy amount of talent. When you see, he scored in the World Cup, albeit at the end of that game. He had a hat trick for Bayern here over the summer. He's shown, obviously that Cuba game, he looked really good. He was the only one who seemed interested in even playing. So yeah, he's shown a lot. He's a guy who I wouldn't want to give up on at all, especially for the national team level. But at the same time, it is, I wrote a thing a couple months ago, or maybe about a month ago, of guys I would kind of want to see move. And I was unsure about Julian at the time because it was right before the injury and Ancelotti was talking like he was going to play. And I'm like, well, I don't want to give up this chance. What if he does break through? But
yeah,
it's clear now that was never going to happen. And this is obviously the right move. And it kind of makes me wonder about a guy very similar, in a similar situation, Gideon Zelalem, who's just never going to play at Arsenal. At least it seems that way. Is he due for a move this January as well? We always talk about with goalkeepers or field players or whatever, we'd rather see a guy playing somewhere smaller than sitting somewhere bigger. It's kind of different with these kinds of guys who are, if they're that close to latching on at a huge club. I mean, you saw what happened with Pulisic. If he actually did it. So it can happen. And obviously first choice is if we could have a guy playing regularly at a big club like Pulisic, but ultimately you want him playing somewhere. So,
some of that is that I think Pulisic kind of hit the jackpot on how things worked out for him, but he also developed quickly with it. I think Julian's problem and Zalalem's problem have really been that they haven't developed as quickly. And they looked great maybe when they were 15 and signed, but they didn't necessarily, kind of progress to the same level. And in both their cases, I think you can also look at physically, they just haven't kind of grown.
They're both
Pulisic overcomes that, but yeah, the two of them are tiny little guys, and or at least relatively speaking, compared to a lot of the players there, especially as attacking players. The players they're going to come up against are full-grown men. And they're professional athlete of full-grown men. So they're just bigger and stronger and physically more capable. You either have to be able to dribble around those guys, kind of like Pulisic can sometimes do, or you got to grow too. And they haven't necessarily progressed. Maybe they didn't possess the capabilities to get to that level, but physically they also haven't achieved it. So there is a trade-off there, or at least a level or a notch you have to reach to really succeed, I think, in that case. And they struggle kind of in both those areas. And that's probably why they haven't seen more chances. And I think that's really why even going to Rangers, like for Zelalem, probably even when he went to, just hearing that he was going to Scotland, to me that was like, well, he's either going to learn to take some hits or to dribble around them. I wouldn't stick a young skinny kid whose job is to dribble the ball in a Scottish league. I'd rather send that kid to Holland, Spain, even Italy. And Italy can be plenty physical, but at least those leagues have more finesse. Scotland is a 4-4-2 bash your brain and kind of it's a little bit like MLS. I mean, the lower teams make up for it by just being physical and following people. So that I don't think was the best move for him either. But I kind of see he's in a similar position to Julian here, where he has to kind of do something, because as it is, when you're not progressing, you're just stuck there. And then the problem becomes you're 21, you're 23, and you haven't moved beyond where you were at 18 or 19.
He could probably get a gigantic contract to come here to MLS and play. But I think I'd still rather him. I would still rather him play, in Germany at the second level, try to get a team promoted, try to fight for a spot, and work your way back up, than come back here. It's
well, and the nice thing about Stuttgart is because they're not just a bottom dwelling team. I mean, so yeah, they were relegated last year, but they're a team that's used to playing in the top division, so they're used to attracting higher quality, higher players, and they're nearing promotion this year. I mean, they're only points off the lead, I think, in third place. So a good weekend goes their way. They're into first place.
It's a lot like Newcastle in that
You're
regard
looking at,
for Yedlin. You're playing at the top of the second tier with a chance to, and a probable, I would say it's probable that both of those teams are going to get promoted because they do belong in the top tier. So yeah, I'm excited. I think it's a great move.
It definitely gives him an opportunity, and it gives him the chance to play for a team that's winning. I mean, part of the problem, I think, when he was at Hamburg was a bit like Josie at Hull or Sunderland, where they were just so bad that you can't getting the ball to put you to do things with it as an attacking player, and and then because you're not succeeding, the club isn't succeeding, and then you're not succeeding, and the club's not, and it just spirals. I'm still not sure that if things had stayed the way they were, maybe either of those teams would have worked out for Josie. Maybe Hamburg would have worked out for Julian long term, but at this age, or what they were trying to do with him, you just don't have the chance for that. So I think this is a good move. At least it has the opportunity, or the promise of being a good move. We'll see what happens. Let's look at what happens come May. See what's occurred along the way. If he gets regular minutes and he starts playing, if he gets into the starting lineup there, I could easily see him playing come March or over the summer. In which case, this has been awesome, and it's everything we wanted, and good for him. So we'll see what happens. I'm certainly interested.
Do you know, or does anybody watching know, can we see a Bundesliga 2 match here in the States anywhere? Is it on do I have to pay Fox $10 a month for that little website thing they have?
Might.
I think it probably is. Yeah.
I'm trying to think if I see it listed on my schedule thing or not. I think it's on. I think you got to pay Fox, but I think
Soccer to go or whatever it's called.
Because I think at this point FS1 and 2 are really just full Bundesliga, Bundesliga 1, and on Saturdays and Sundays.
All right, it's time for our friend Illegal Stream to help us out. Then, but no internet police. I'm just joking. I didn't mean that. I pay for all my soccer that I watch. Other interesting stuff this week. Hugo Perez, who we hope at some point in the near future is known
will just be known as the uncle of Josh Perez.
Exactly. Yeah. But for now, it's still Hugo Perez. Talked to 442, and he talked about his time as our U15 coach. And he was one of these guys who was kind of pushed out of the club. And he talked about the need for us to play attractive, fun, attacking soccer. And he thinks we can do it. It's not something – I mean, Klinsmann thought we could do it too, and then kind of backed off that and then went insane. But it's another guy saying, no, we can do that in the United States. And and
the interesting thing about him is that the team he was coaching was doing that. And you look at the guys he had on that team, and maybe it was just blind luck that, he got so many guys who are now pros and show a lot of promise. Or maybe it's that he was doing a good job of recruiting or coaching or whatever. I think you kind of have to give him the chance here. And that's, that was really the heart of the article. I think some of it maybe it's sort of like, why is Wijnaldum not more than anything he is? Why is he not on TV more? Why is he not getting more chances coaching? Now, granted, some of that is when he was with the Silverbacks in Atlanta. He wasn't even he was kind of doing the Klinsmann coaching Germany thing where it's like, I'll be there when I feel like it. What if I just log on TV? But but I think there's an element for both of them in which their personalities just don't jibe well with other people. And there's too much politics in U.S. soccer. So I assume, even that's kind of what the article addressed too, was that there's politics going on, and there are people who just say that he didn't want to get along with other people. And what can you do then? Certainly, you hope that he would find a way, or U.S. Soccer would find a way to work with him, because he brings the resume, and he's bringing a nephew along who seems to be showing a lot of promise. He is kind of the one who you could say found Christian Pulisic. I mean, at least for the U.S. And you look at so many of the guys who played on that U15 team, and they're all pros, and they're looking better than even the current U15s or U17s. Or some of them, I guess, are U17s now, the ones who are showing promise. But it's
yeah, I mean, he had to run it down. He had Pulisic, Carrollton, the kid at La Masia, Ben Lederman was his name. His nephew Perez. Those are some heavy hitters there he had as U15 coach a few years ago, and he did well with them too. So and now they're doing good things. And was it just pure luck, or did he have something? Did he know something? Was he bringing something to the table that was really helping these guys? It makes me wonder.
Well, and he notes that Hispanic people tended to love him as a player and tend to relate to him. Well, to some extent, U.S. Soccer could use that kind of the way that we used Klinsmann. Like his face, his name brought German players to play for us. Right now, when we are still competing with players for like Mexico or other Central Latin American teams, it wouldn't be terrible to have somebody who has a great history with the U.S. who can attract players like that, and they want to come play with him. They can look at what he did, and they can look at the style he played, and it brings something to our team. So it certainly it's a really interesting article. If you guys haven't seen it, I really do recommend going to check it out. It's on 442. It just came out yesterday. Or when did the I don't know when the actual printed version came out, but
recently. We'll say recently.
Yeah, I don't know what the latest date was on it, but yeah, I mean it's just out, so it's the latest issue. It's a cool article, and it highlights an issue that we struggle with in the U.S.
Yeah, I think that sometimes diversity for diversity's sake is stupid. I feel like the NFL does that sometimes we're just going to interview a black guy for this job, even though we have no intention of hiring him. But the fact that we have millions of Latinos in this country who love soccer, and then there's not really any representation as far as the coaching goes on the national team level, we could use some, because it's like there's this giant divide of the white kids who play for the club teams in the suburbs, and then the Mexican and other Latinos who play in their leagues in the cities, and we're not. It's like existing in separate worlds. Yeah. One of our really good commenters, Jose, mentioned that he thinks that's the reason why a lot of American-born Mexicans still support El Tri, because they just gravitate toward this, because there's two separate worlds going on here. Yeah. So we need to do. We've always recognized that we're a country of immigrants, and we used to do a great job of bringing together all these different countries and all these different immigrants. That's what our team mainly was for many years. But now I don't think we're doing as good of a job. We're bringing in German-born people who have American passports, and some other Europeans like that, but we're not. I feel like we're not reaching everybody. And a guy like Hugo Perez could have done that. That's why I really want to see Oscar Pareja from FC Dallas get a strong chance at joining the national team program, or maybe even taking over for Bruce Arena in 2018, because he's got a lot of belief, like Perez, he's got a lot of belief that this country can be better, and he knows how to tap into these different worlds, and I think it could be good.
Yeah, I mean, he brings a face and a name that are recognizable to the program, which, I mean, really that was kind of Klinsmann's star. That was his star power. And to do that again, and to do it with people who, I don't know, are either in this country already, people who were born here and live here, I just people whose dad went overseas and father to child, but people who are already here who we could be winning over, and helping bridge some of that gap that gets it starts winning over more fans for the U.S. Should benefit everyone. I mean, it should benefit the program. It also benefits U.S. soccer's bottom line, and we know they love money.
They do. They're going to need some more money if the women do well in their lawsuit. They also need to keep paying Klinsmann like $6 million more, right? So,
yeah. Of course, with their $100 million in the bank or whatever it is, I think they'll be all right.
Wonder how much of that needs to go to Jack Warner and Sepp Blatter, though. What's owed?
109.
Greg Garza. We were talking about what Liga MX team we wanted to follow, and one of the players playing in Liga MX is going to join MLS. Greg Garza, it appears, is going to Atlanta United, one of the many new Uniteds in MLS. First of all, my God, Atlanta, seriously. Like, they're exciting, and they haven't even played a game yet. Like,
I thought it was crazy when the Sounders came in, and it was like, oh, they're just going to buy everyone. This seems like they literally are going to buy anyone and everyone. Although they did lose out on who was the guy who apparently is signing in China now? I can't think of it.
Yeah. It's a lot like when New York City FC came in. So
that's true.
Because they're signing all these people doesn't mean that it's going to work initially, but it will eventually if you've got that dedication from the ownership level and that level of desire to make your team do well. I think it will work. It's going to be fun to watch. They're going to have an awesome new stadium and Atlanta's not the best sports town in a lot of ways, but hopefully they can get behind their team. On the flip side, Minnesota, what are they doing? Miguel Ibarra looks like he's going to be joining the MLS version of his old team, coming back from Mexico as well. So there's a guy that was on the national team radar a while ago who kind of fell off. I wonder what will happen with him back at MLS, but it'll be good to see how he's doing. Greg Garza to Atlanta, Miguel Ibarra to Minnesota United. I think they're both close to done, if not done. I believe part of the deal with Garza was that the Crew said they owned his discovery rights, which we've railed against before on this show about the stupid discovery rule in MLS. So the Crew gets something out of this. So good for you, Crew HD. You're going to get some kind of MLS monopoly money.
You can celebrate this one.
Another guy coming back. Are any thoughts on this? Are you excited to see this?
I mean, it's not like I'm, I don't know, a Greg Garza lover or something. So whatever. It mostly affects, I guess, my chances of supporting Club Tijuana as we've been talking about Liga MX team. So in that regard, it's of interest. But we'll see. I think he's probably a good kind of veteran for them. I think that's how they're probably looking at this. And I assume it's probably a loan because they're signing such big deals for other players. He's probably coming in for a few months and then going back to make his real money with his club team, with Tijuana. But who knows? I'm just kind of making that up. I'm taking a wild guess here. Another national team player of interest, though, and I don't see how this could work, but I have heard or seen rumors on the internets of DMB going to the Fire to wrap up his career. Now, yeah, I know. I bring it up mostly just to talk about it.
Well, I'd rather retire.
He probably would too. He'll do one of those one-day contracts just to retire.
I will buy his jersey, though. I will buy a DMB jersey if he comes here. I will go see him play.
It would be cool. I mean,
I expect he'll be hurt for most of his run here. Kind of like, we had Freddie Ljungberg here for such a short period of time, and he was hurt for most of it, that I never got to see him play. Even as a big Arsenal fan, I never saw Freddie Ljungberg play for the Fire. So
he and I were born on the very same day.
Wow. That's phenomenal. I was born on the very same day as Jason Segel from How I Met Your Mother and Julius
Like
Peppers.
Julius Peppers, yeah, I thought that's what you told me.
Julius Peppers, yeah. Somebody else too, I think. I can't remember though.
Yeah, so I just don't see how it's happening, especially when they're talking about the Fire. I mean, they're talking about wanting to bring in a central midfielder, which I just can't believe that they're really going to pay $6.5 million for Bastian Schweinsteiger, but whatever, maybe. Anyway, I heard it. I thought I'd bring it up because it's something to discuss, and it's funny that really the Fire are actually going to accomplish a signing. I know they just signed one, but now I look at it. Yeah, okay, they have one. They'd be looking at another in presumably the central midfielder that they want. And what are they going to do with DeMarcus? Is he going to sign for minimum money? I doubt it.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, it would be cool, but
it would help Winnow fans though, and their section of 8 needs needs a boost.
I would go to a game or two to see him play.
That's true. They would kind of win me back some. I will admit that.
He is. I brought this up before, but one of the coolest things I've ever seen. We went to U.S. Poland. DeMarcus played in that at Soldier Field. This was 12, 13 years ago, and it was a doubleheader. And DeMarcus played in the following game for the Fire against New England, I believe it was. He played in 2 straight games. Not entirely both of them, but you don't see anything like that anymore. So it's one of my favorite DMB moments, and I love the guy.
That's the last time I saw him play for the Fire.
I think it was me as well. Yeah, it's because he went to PSV not long after that. So, yeah,
I have a PSV jersey from when he was there, and if he should come back, I do have a Beasley jersey that I'm going to have to try to get signed, but I don't believe it's happening.
No,
I believe I have a better chance of running into him on the street somewhere.
See, here's the difference.
Than of seeing him play for the Fire again.
When I see a major, like there's talk about Julian Draxler and stuff like that, and in the European papers, I generally, take it with a grain of salt, like it could be made up. No, I definitely believe that the Fire think they're going to sign or try to sign big names, but it just, I think there's truth to the fact that they're trying.
I believe you never believe it.
They're just never. It's always a failure. They're, every time they try to do it, the people realize that they play in Bridgeview and they have trouble.
There are no fans.
Up and down the organization.
Team's not particularly good. The ownership is terrible.
They have to walk across a gravel parking lot to get to their training field. Yeah, lots of problems there. But maybe maybe he wants to wrap it up where he started. He's from Fort Wayne, Indiana. It's not too far from home. It would be cool. So yeah, I hope he plays somewhere. Hey, and that said, if he is going to play in the same place as Landon Donovan, maybe Landon's coming to the Fire. What do you think?
You've heard it here first, folks. Donovan and Beasley both playing for the Fire next season.
See, if this was Europe now, there'd be like report Donovan and Beasley playing for the Fire, and then it would get so watered down nobody would even know where it came from. And it came from.
We just need to speak Italian, and we could probably get it out.
All right, have we covered it?
We can post it to Facebook, and we've hit it all. It's slowing down with Christmas. I mean, I'm sure we'll see what the signings are over the next few weeks, or next 6 weeks, but hopefully we're looking at a few changes. But yeah, I think we've hit it all for tonight.
Our next show would be Monday, which would be the 26th, the day after Christmas, Boxing Day, as it were. We might do a show that day. We might not. We'll have to see what's going on. If there's absolutely nothing going on, I would think we'd probably skip it and maybe push it back later in the week. Maybe just do the Wednesday show. I don't know. Anything can happen because we do what we want.
This is America, damn it.
So
let freedom ring.
We have a website. It's called USfanTV.com. You should go read stuff there.
You may have heard of it.
You should go read stuff there. Maybe we'll write some stuff for you to read there. We have a Twitter. It's at USfanTV. We put lots of stuff there, so follow us. Do follow us. We have a Facebook. You should go like us there. It's USfanTV on Facebook. We have an Instagram. Not surprisingly, it's USfanTV. We don't put a lot of stuff on Instagram, but we got a lot of cool stuff up there from the past, from different games and stuff. So go check that out. And yeah, subscribe to this fine YouTube channel if you haven't already. We very much appreciate it. Chris, any final words on the broadcast?
Thank you all. We will see you again soon. And Merry
Bye,
Christmas, guys. Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, whatever you may celebrate over the next weekend-ish time.
Happy New Year, too. Don't forget the New Year. But we'll be back before then.
Well, we hadn't gotten to that, so.
We hadn't gotten to that. All right. Bye. See ya. See you next time.